we are the drone detection team. Our goal is to detect, identify, and eliminate a threat drone in regulated and unregulated airspace. My name's Brooke.
I'm Anna Rose, and I'm a nursing major.
I'm Bailey.
Matthew.
I'm Jack, intelligence officer major.
So, for our weekly customer discovery, one of our hypotheses that we wanted to figure out, something we wanted to investigate, we wanted to look into the feasibility of using an EMP as a countermeasure against the drones that we're trying to protect against. We interviewed some people who had some experience in the area, and what they said was that the EMP charges typically take a lot more energy than would be something that a drone could carry, or it would be a heavy device to be able to create an EMP that would be effective against them. However, they also mentioned that Boeing had created a device that could send out an EMP wave in a very large radius, which you would typically get from something like an atomic bomb or something of that nature, and they did it without using anything of that sort. So we need to look into how they did that and see if that's potential for applying. Also, a big problem that we are looking into is identifying the drones without being detected, without being able to be detected by the enemy. So we interviewed people, and it looks like there's lots of technologies out there that are being looked into, such as sono cameras, detecting the drones through heat, detecting them through sound, things like that. So our next step with that is to further investigate those.
We also had a great hands-on experience this week. Jack was invited to Fort AP Hill for a demo of a counter UAS, and that just gave us some insight and explained a little bit about the current problems with the solutions we already have. And then we have it also listed as the contacts. I believe the red are mostly the Air Force, and then others are mostly ex-military or drone experts. And so this week we got a lot of information about a bunch of new ideas. So we have over 5 ideas that we could go with. And we also had one big aha moment that Jack discovered at Fort AP Hill. And it was that one of our ideas of using radar to detect enemy drones would actually give us away and might be more harmful to us.
So we did our value proposition canvas based on a soldier on the ground. And so the soldier on the ground already has his own responsibilities and what he's supposed to do set up. So while we're creating our product, we need to keep in mind that since he already has a job, this needs to be unmanned, and it needs to be he's already carrying a lot of equipment, so it needs to be light. As we said before with our hypothesis, we explained that the EMP, that it would not be useful because we can't really use it. So based off our interviews, they gave us some good hypotheses with the RCNN and the FASTA RCNN, which are 2 computer vision programs. And they also explained to us about RMF jamming, which is, it's a pre-programmed and it does not use GPS tracking. And then another insightful thing that they told us was about magnetic powder, which is when you disperse the powder, since it's magnetic, it goes directly to the computer, the main board. And so, as we said before, our archetype is going to be for a male or female, it's a soldier, and we want to make sure that the system is going to be unmanned, and that overall the main purpose for this product is to make sure everyone is safe and all the information is protected.
So, customer workflow. For someone in the Air Force who is trying to find a solution for this problem, obviously they've recognized the problem, they get engineers, outsource other companies to work on it, they have to pass the regulations that are required for them to implement the solution. From there, it can go on to the appropriate committee to approve it. If it gets approved, then we're able to implement the solution. Otherwise, it's, you know, sunset. Right now, our minimum viable product, so we have essentially a main tower that through some manner detects this drone, whether it's sono camera, heat detection, or sound. And once it has identified a bad drone, these other two towers, we're theorizing, would use a laser guidance system to identify and lock on to the other drone, where we would launch our good drone, which would house some kind of countermeasure and would take out the bad drone.
Good job, guys. You've come really far. This is really cool to see your stuff. What questions do we have for them? What feedback?
Did we go over time?
No, I just thought you were done.
Okay, I thought I heard the timer, but
You did it. You're good.
Okay, cool.
That's the 3D printer on the side. So if you want to ask something, feel free.
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
For your actual problem statement, are you guys just trying to identify drones or actually take them down too? Because I was a little confused.
So it's going to be a passive system that can detect when they enter, you know, some radius within the system, detect them, and also take them out.
So we have multiple goals with this, really.
So the situation is pretty similar to the first team, where drones are being used as weapons or to gather intel.
Go back to the customer workflow. You focused on the wrong aspect of this.
Okay.
The customer workflow that is going to benefit you to think about is more specifically what's happening when the problem's occurring. You're kind of taking a broad view of like solution of the overall system. I don't know, maybe Keith, do you have different words for that? This isn't my area of expertise, but this isn't the right person that you're focusing on.
Yeah, I think we're a little bit confused on that, so I might want to talk to the professor about that.
Let's do that. That was my question.
Can I have a quick look at your hypotheses?
Yes.
So one of the things about hypotheses is that they need to be testable, and so these look like ideas rather than a testable kind of hypothesis. So when you're framing these hypotheses, they should be fairly a little more specific, a little more oh man, is that the words that I'm looking for? Like, these seem hard to test to me, and you're not going to be able to test it with an interview. And so I think you need to work on a little bit of the phrasing. I get it, but I think you need to work on the phrasing a little bit because it's going to help, again, with what Debbie said earlier about your objectives for your interviews. And it's going to make you get a little bit more out of those interviews.
Thank you. Also, watch for audience here. There's at least two of us, like, in this row alone that don't know what an EMP is.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know
When you were talking EMP, I'm like, you know,
Electromagnetic pulse.
right.
Thank you.
The electromagnetic pulses can take out electronic devices. So if it detonates, it could take out all the electronics in this room, your phones, your Fitbit, whatever, gone, destroyed.
But it takes a lot of nuclear power to like do that.
Just power.
Yeah, a lot of power.
Kind of like the first question, I thought you were just trying to detect presence, but it sounds like now you're actually trying to bring them down too. I'd be interested in what brought that about or brought that aha moment out. And then I still don't really understand what the use case scenarios are. Is this domestic? Is this abroad? Is this?
Awaiting that.
We're still trying to figure that out.
Right now, they've told us the football field, in the country.
Is a possibility.
We were told to prepare a device that could be put in regulated airspace and unregulated airspace. That's all we were given. So
Can you address Keith's first question, though, because I think that's really important.
Use case
The use case scenario, because like we seem to have two different systems going on, right? The detection and the detonation, but taking it down, right?
Yes.
Are we talking two different systems?
No, so it's one system. So essentially what you want to be able to do is you want to have two guys that haven't slept in 48 hours be able to go up on top of this building, on top of this hill, wherever they are, set the system up and go to sleep. And so the ideally, so the one that I was demoed, which won't work because it can be detected by adversaries, basically it fires these electromagnetic pulses after using radar. So radar identifies it. You can literally see on their computers where the drones are flying. Then it just overloads it almost like a DDoS denial service. It finds the frequency, it overloads it, drone falls out of the sky. So it does it all in one system.
So an automatic safety
Yes,
net.
that system is $600,000 and
Christine or Chris, on the WebEx, do you guys have anything to add?
I'm good.
Guys, story, please, draw out that story. Very important.
Several questions. I may have missed it, but did you say that your beneficiaries were Air Force?
Yes.
And so what ground activities do Air Force members do?
Very little.
Yeah, I don't know that they climb on top of buildings.
They do have special operations.
there are plenty of.
Yeah, they have special ops.
Spec ops guys.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that along the way,
Air
like
Force
what,
combat
I wasn't in the Air Force, I was in the Army, but I don't know what Air Force do on the ground. Might be a joke.
You guys did a great job. Remember to put other feedback in your comments, because we're wrapping up with our time on that, so great job, guys.
Great.